Hey, good evening, folks. It's Jason here, one of the pro traders over at TrueTrader.net. Former market maker, been around the business since the early 90s. Everybody knows me as the goose over in the TrueTrader.net community and in the chat room. This is the midweek watch that I put out every week. Hopefully you guys are liking what we're seeing, and if you do, all I do is I ask you to subscribe, like, and comment. The comments actually help us a ton. I know Ricky says it on Sunday night. The comments, keep them coming. They give us good feedback. We do listen to. I'm telling you. I know Ricky emphasized it, and so do I. And we're trying to make these as good as we can for you guys. So please make sure you guys are commenting. We try to keep these to, or I'm trying to keep mine to about 10 to 15 minutes. Let's call that. I keep saying 13 minutes or 12 minutes. It's really 10 to 15 minutes. I'm trying to keep these to. So anyway. With that being said, I just want to comment, Ricky did an amazing job on Sunday. If you didn't catch it, it's worth watching, even though tomorrow's going to be Thursday. Watch it back. There's some good psychology things that he was talking about. There's some great feedback where people were listening in. Really did some good chat there at the beginning of his Sunday prep. Great job, Ricky, as always. And again, keep the comments going. And we will listen to you guys. I appreciate it. Great job as always, Ricky. Another thing that we got to take care of is last week, we did a giveaway. The giveaway was for it was a random person who did the like, subscribe, and comment. We gave away a backpack, or we're giving away a backpack and a free month of subscription to the TrueTrader.net community. And I want to announce the winner. So with that being said, I'm assuming they're going to put something up in flashy letters or flashy numbers here. But it was Todd D who won. So congratulations, and look forward to seeing you in the community. But great job and great comments, guys. Last week, there was a lot of comments. I appreciate it. It's why I do this. It warms my heart to hear that it's impacting you guys, helping you guys, and you guys are seeing kind of where my mind is at and what I'm looking at. So I really do appreciate it. With that being said, let's jump over to what we have to do here, and that's the disclaimer. So we'll jump right in. And TrueTrader nor its representatives or myself are registered as a security broker-dealer or an investment advisor with the SEC or any state regulatory authorities. We're not licensed nor qualified to provide investment advice. As I always say, this is for entertainment purposes or educational purposes only. Do not follow me. Do not copy me. Have your own ideas. Follow your own plans. This is just so you guys can get a little peek inside my head what I'm looking at when I do my scans every day. And just so you guys know, I've been asked this before, and before I jump into the market and the scans, is I do this every day. Like, this is not a special once a week Wednesday prep I do for myself every day, and I share it within the community or the goose room, and they get to see it. So it's not something you guys always come prepared every single day to the market. So make sure you guys are doing that. With that being said, let's flip over to some charts here and continue on. Let me take a sip of water and get ready to roll here in my Olaf cup. There we go. All right, let's get rolling here, guys. So let's talk about the markets for a second. I said this, I think, last Wednesdays. The markets were kind of in a funny spot, and I still will say the exact same thing. I feel like the markets are a little bit funny right now. The market, I think the Dow was up a little bit, NASDAQ was off a little bit. It was a kind of a mixed market, and there's not a lot of confidence, I think, either way. I think so. When you get this, I always call this kind of like a take your trade market. I don't think you're going to get the big runners or obviously it's always hindsight. You all of a sudden look and the market's up 300 on the day and the NASDAQ did great, and you kick yourself and say, oh, I could have made 3 points. You can't do that in this type of market because there's a lot of whipsaws that go on. And what that means is 1 second you're chasing the breakouts, the next second you're getting stopped out. And then you see they bounce right where you stopped out. You jump back in only to get stopped out again. That's being whipsawed. So a lot of that happens in this kind of choppy type of market. So just be real careful, I think. Let the market determine and pick a direction. I'm still hoping for a little bit lower in the market. I have the SPY up right now. I'd love to see it come into this area right here. I'm not sure it will or not. But, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what it does. The Qs look, very similar. I mean, hang on. Oops. Qs are the same type of thing. They're all below the 50-day, which is the purple line here, just so you know, have it up. But again, just dragging this back. Again, I did this last week. I mean, you guys get an idea of the trend, right? And I want to show you something else. And I showed this last week, is it breaks the 50-day. And everybody's like, oh my God, now what? What do we do? Well, look at it. Ended up holding. It actually held the 6 month. That's a 126 moving average. and it ended up reclaiming it and making new highs. But what, a month later or a month and a half later? So take a deep breath. I think we're going to be fine. But during the time when we're having this little chop in this little weak market, you know, and right now we're talking about right now, which is in this area, you guys just got to play it safe. Be smart with your, you know, take the trade mentality possibly. You always have to be adapting this type of market. So always be adapting. So anyway, with that being said, I'm going to start off and I'm going to kind of go through these pretty quickly. I think I have 10 or 11 names to roll through and a few short ideas as well, which are part of those 10 or 11. Don't worry, I don't have 15 names today. But let's start off with KSS. So Coles. And let's jump right in. So KSS, what I wrote down was a long, possibly a 53.20, okay? And that's going to be this previous low area. And I'm saying area, it's not exactly the low on the 200-day. So they had this big weakness, the retail names. They had a nice bounce, a little bit of a retrace back to the 200-day. As long as it holds the 200-day, I'm okay. You can see how close the 50 and the 200 are. I know it closed below the 50-day. A lot of you guys would jump on me and say, whoa, 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 don't you usually say you want to, for, you know, a bull stock, you want to see it close above the 50-day and bear, you know, below, etc. Well, when the 200-day and the 50-day are that close, I'm okay with this, all right? So the 200-day right here, let's see if it holds. You can see I already have an alert set up there, and I'm going to see if this holds and look at 53.20. Now, the one thing I will say to you guys is it's trading really close to there already in the post-market. So this might be a non-trade, but I wanted to put it up there because I love stocks coming off the 200-day and coming into that prior resistance area. You could also see that's the prior resistance, right, that lines up with it. Off this area here. So I do want to still look at it, even though it's real close. It might, but we don't know what the market's going to do. If the market opens up flat or maybe up green a little bit, it might just hold this 53 area, which is a 200-day, and take off. So I want to be around for that. All right, next stock is going to be DFS. It's Discover. All right, and what I wrote down on Discover was a long off 124. All right, and what you have off 124 now I see. I want to cover a couple points on this because there's another thing I wrote down as a note. But the note is the 20-day and the prior resistance. Okay, so it's this resistance right here, and the 20 days right down at 124. 353 is the ATR. That brings it down right into that level. 126.80 or 127 is where it's trading in the post market. So $3 brings it down into that 124 area, which is a 20-day. But I want to see also, what I wrote down was a note, is what it does tomorrow morning. If it just holds this previous day's low in the 50-day, it's just too close. So again, just like KSS, it's really close to where it closed. But I will take a note on this and see the financials as far as it, you know, coming back. It had a real strong. They had a nice strong week. It's dipping down right to the 50-day. Let's see if it comes a little bit lower and gives me an opportunity off possibly the 20-day down there. So with that being said, let's move on to the next name. So the next one's going to be my first short thought, and that's going to be off Micron. That's symbol MU. That's going to be a short off 73.50, and this is what I'm looking at on Micron. The 20-day previous day's high, and I wrote down their poor guidance, okay? So this is a name, and I think they just did something with the dividend, so I will give them that. But listen, this whole consolidation lines right up with this 20-day right here, okay? This blue line is a 20-day, and you see all this consolidation moving in. That's going to be a pretty big resistance area, that 73.50. You could see it kind of pushed up into it also. The high today was 73.30. Lines right up with that 50-day, or that 20-day, excuse me. I think this could be a possible real good fade if it has any strength in the morning. The company did come out with poor guidance. I like that. I think the stock's going to end up coming lower. So I'm a little bit bearish on Micron, thinking that we're going to see some new lows on it, but we'll see how it all plays out on Micron. So that's a short off 73.50 on Micron. I'm going to jump into CROX, CROX. You can see, just pulling this up right now, you can see the trend this has been on. And I wrote a long off 143, okay? 143, let me pull it back up here and blow it up. You can see the 143 area is the 50-day, all right? Right below that, you have an annual as well as a monthly pivot, just a little bit below that. That's CROX, so long off 143. This is one, and you could say, you know, whoa, check this out, 149. It's got a $6.50 ATR, so the ATR might fit it, but this might be one that doesn't happen tomorrow. It might be Friday, but I want to be prepared. I'll have an alert set for tomorrow morning, and if it does come, if the market has this big, you know, pull down tomorrow, that might be a really nice level to trade it off of. So I'll watch for that. If it doesn't happen tomorrow, maybe it'll happen on Friday. So that's on CROX. Water break. All right. I don't have a Moscow Mule like Ricky does. nor am I sitting at the pool topless. Ricky. All right, team. Let's go into team here. TEAM. I wrote down a long off 375. What I have is, I wrote down out there, it's a previous low and a support and a quarterly pivot, okay? So you have the previous low, support area right here on team, and then you have the quarterly pivot down here. Now, I want you guys to know something. Team is a lighter volume name, trades a million shares a day or so, but it has like a $12 ATR. So it closed at 385. Going down in that same area is about $11 down. That would also match up close to the ATR down there, down at that 375 area, okay? So it's a little bit light of it, but it's pretty close. And that's what I'm looking for on TEAM. So watch it for a pull. You can see it held it twice. Nice candle today with the market. And a really, really strong name. A big earnings beat. Big, strong name. Pulling back a little bit. Still buyers in there, obviously. You can see by the candles. I like the team idea. It's a little bit more expensive name, but I'm trying to put other ideas up there for you. All right, here's going to be an interesting one for you. I don't know how to say this one, but I'm thinking a short Dix. Richards, let's just be, makes myself more comfortable if I call it Richards. All right, so what I'm looking for is a possible short on Richards. That's 129.50. That's DKS. All right, and what I wrote down was the monthly pivot, prior support, and heading. You know, I think it's heading into the 50-day. So what I think is it broke this support area here. All right, and what I'm looking for on this is I wrote down 129.50. Let me look at it with you again. The monthly pivot right here, right into this prior support level. All right, you guys see what I'm looking at? I hope. There we go. So that's on Dix, and I wrote it, and I think it's heading down to this 50-day area. And to me, that's not going to be broken. I mean, it's going to be kind of the lower end of this gap, but I think it'll end up holding this area here, or maybe a little bit lower. Overall, I think it'll be fine. I had big earnings, had good numbers, but I think it's in breaking the support. Market not knowing what it wants to do. I think it's a good time for a breather in the name. So we'll see what happens there. All right, next one's a little bit lighter of a name, but I wanted to include it. And that's just because of the last couple days it's been coming in. And this has been a pretty good name to me in the past. So I want to throw AYX up on the board here as a possible long at 69.40. All right, and right here you could see every time, how many times you could see right now how it held this annual pivot here to 69.40 area. You could see, I don't know what it is. It loves this number, but it came in, it got bought right back up. But let's see if there's some morning weakness maybe. Comes into that level again. That might be a nice scoop. It traded less than 1 million shares today, so have in mind. And just so you guys know, when I talk about lighter volume names, make sure you guys, when you're trading lighter volume names and names with big spreads or big range, that you adjust your size accordingly, okay? You got to let the stocks do what they're supposed to do. I mean, if a stock has $12 range, does a 50-cent stop or 30-cent stop make sense for names like that, especially when they're 50-cent spreads or 40-cent spreads? So make sure you guys are adjusting your size accordingly for stuff like that, okay? All right. Let's move on to electronic arts. All right, so EA. EA, by the way, was on my last week's prep as a long off 125.50. You could see what it did. That's not I guess a pat on the back. It's not that. It's what I'm telling you is I'm taking the other side now on EA. Let's see if I get the other side right as well. Okay, so EA right now just had this monster move, a $15 move from 125, push right in. Look what it's pushing into, folks. The 200-day, the 50-day, the 126, and right where it kind of came from. So I'm looking at a short on EA at 140 and 141, okay? That's the 200-day, that's the 50-day and the 200-day, and the 126-day, all right? So it's pushing into some serious resistance, I think, there. It's made a huge move. It's a prior support area. I think there's a lot of reason why this could set up for a nice fade back. I don't think it's broken. Remember, the whole reason this stock came down from the beginning was because they delayed their, I'm going to go by memory here, I think it was their Battlefield game or something of that nature. And I mean, look at it. I mean, it's ridiculous. And we talked about it last week when it was down here. I said it's ridiculous that it took such a hit on that. But now that it's had such a big move, a $15 move in such a short window of time, I think it's due for a little bit of a break. So watch EA for a fade. I think that could be a really good one. All right, next one is Edit. And so Edit's been taking it pretty good lately. As you can see, the last few days took a big hit today. And what I wrote down, I want to watch this one. I want to be really careful because it was really heavy today. So I want to be careful tomorrow. But the 37.85 off this 37.85. Hang on. Yep, right off this quarterly pivot here and this previous support. Let me drag the chart back here. But you can see this previous support here. This quarterly pivot, it's coming in, and that's a pretty good drop from there. 42.70, it's got, call it $4.50 range. That brings you right into that level as well. So between the ATR, between the prior support, the quarterly pivot. Edit might be really good off that 37.85 QP right there. So let's see what happens. That's edit, EDIT. All right. Two more. Hopefully I don't go through these too fast. You can kind of jump around into the way they do these videos. Next one's going to be on match, MTCH. All right, I wrote a long off 150.10. All right, you could see right now just by, if I blow this up, 150.10, all the stuff that's in that area here. You got a 200-day, a 50-day, the 126-day, right off this 150. I talked to you guys about the big numbers, 50, 100, 150, 200, 250. Those are big numbers. They're big psychology numbers. I don't know what it's for as long. I've been doing this for, I don't know, 27 years, whatever it's been. I mean, for as long as I've been doing this, I mean, they've always been big numbers. I've always noticed that. So 150.10, you got the 50-day, the 200-day, and the previous support also in this area from this level. I like Match. It's a strong name. It's been doing very well. Had a big push up here, kind of consolidated, coming right into this level. I like the Match idea. So let's see what happens tomorrow. Last one, I was just thumbing through a couple names, and the last one I just want to note Palantir. Palantir's had a 3 down days in a row. Okay, I wrote down a long, possibly off 23.70. You could see that the 126 as well as the quarterly pivot down there. And if you look, 24.65. It's a $1.27 ATR. Again, it kind of brings you right into that area, that little pocket. Watch PLTR. I have this feeling that it's going to have a nice bounce day. Maybe one more washout, but we'll see what happens tomorrow or Friday with it. But I do like it, and you can see it's this prior support area as well. That's what I wrote down as a prior support. So PLTR, I'll be looking for a long off 23.70. Okay. All right. So that's it with the ideas, guys. Hope you guys are finding this helpful. Do me a favor. I appreciate it when you guys like. You know, if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe. Make sure you guys leave your comments. Tell me what you guys think. If you have comments on the ideas that I'm giving or questions about them, you guys see I answer them first thing in the morning, you know. So if I see any questions or anything else that I can answer, I do. So make sure you guys are, leaving comments as well. So I appreciate it. I wish you guys a good rest of the night. And if you don't get it tonight, I'll see you bright and early in the morning. Thank you guys very much. We appreciate you. Come check us out over at TrueTrader.net. Thank you.